Hello.
What's going on, guys?
What's going
Looking
on?
good.
How
Hey,
are you?
Mike.
For everybody at KRA that knows or doesn't know you guys, got some family members from north of the border, the other side of the lake, from New York and Toronto. Clever Weapon Band.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Hello.
You
Cheers, happy
everyone.
Friday.
been drinking up, eh? Yeah, we
It's
had
been a long week.
I was informed of this new invention called ginger ale flavored water,
Yes.
which I will be deeply investigating after we all sign off. I think there's an alcoholic beverage mixed. I think James.
Yeah,
Just
James.
in addition to playing bass for Clever Weapon, I am a brand mascot for ginger ale water. Yes,
You know,
I just got paid 25 cents.
exactly. Product endorsements are welcome.
Oh, my. Eric, it looks like
Jason?
you and I are the only ones not drinking tonight.
Yeah, no, I have like my juice. Like James called me just before, and like we were talking a little bit. I will have like my orange juice. You know, very healthy because I'm a healthy person as well.
I've
There
got
you go.
gas
Oh,
station,
Mike's got something too.
gas station coffee. It's
Nice.
not Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love
Thankfully.
our Timmy.
Well, we got Eric on guitar, Jason on drums, James on bass, and I guess almost everybody knows Sherry at Keep Rock Alive. And we did a couple little side projects that went pretty good.
Yeah.
We
Aside
did
from the fact that I bug you all the time, Mike.
No, I tell you what, it's a good thing you bugged me because I wouldn't have known about the band. So there you go. But yeah, we did the most underproduced karaoke version of what did you do? It was Hearts.
Oh yeah, we did Love Alive.
Alive, yeah.
Love Alive. Yeah, we did that.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't, yeah, and you know, it was fun. And I remember thinking, I was so worried. I'm like, oh my God, if I send the vocals this way, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna sound terrible. But yeah.
It mixed nice, and all I did, like I said, it took me about 5 minutes on Audacity, and then we had a single. Let's go.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's rock and roll. Who cares? So, like I said, I found you guys. What? I guess a little over a year ago. Last summer, not this past summer. Last summer.
Mhm.
And I think the band followed first.
Mhm.
And Sherry might have retweeted something, but just like everything else that I see the name and I'll click the song, or because it wasn't mailed to me. I think I might have just seen it and I was like, holy crap.
Mhm.
Obviously, first thing that jumped out was Sherry's vocals. At first, for some reason, I don't know why I remember. I thought you guys were kids. I was wrong. Sorry.
I act like a kid. Does that count?
Yeah, we're going on 12, so
Just turned 30.
Yeah.
twice.
22 next week.
But I mean, you guys, the sound, I wrote I always try to find what, how to describe a band, and I'm not very good at it. I mean, I just go, you guys kick ass, man, because I'm not a reviewer. I don't do critiquing. You see what I do. I find the music, put out in front of people so they can hear you. That's it. Hopefully we build up bring you some new fans.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, appreciate it.
But I wrote down distinctly Canadian and unmistakably rock and roll. And I thought that was pretty good. Or I'm full of shit. I don't know which one.
Hang on. I'm going to put that on the next poster. Let me write that.
That's it, Jay. That's it.
That's the bumper sticker.
There's some marketing stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
But you guys are all from the Toronto area. And needless to say, this year has been unprecedented. So I guess what I'm going to ask you first is how, I've been posting the music. I know you've been putting some stuff out. Sherry and I tinkered with a couple of songs, that one, that Love Alive karaoke thing that we did. But what's been going on? How you've been staying busy, staying healthy. Introduce yourselves, a little bit about you. Go around the horn. I guess we'll ladies first, Sherry, and then go from there.
yeah, well, I guess we've been kind of coping the same way everybody else has been coping. Social media is obviously, in these types of circumstances, is very useful. You can push your stuff out there. You don't necessarily have to have a show to have people hear your stuff. You can just kind of push it out there in any way, shape, or form. we've been, still working on material. And it's funny that you asked me this, because I'm always tweeting, or even on TikTok or any other social media channel, I'm always like, yeah, guys, we're working on new music. We're working on new music because we are. And really, we have a group chat on WhatsApp. So we're always kind of exchanging ideas and trying to kind of get things together that way. But the work it's still going. It's still going. The creative aspect is still going. The only thing that slowed down, as everybody else in this industry knows, it's just the actual shows itself. We were actually supposed to play in March a show, and I think it was was it the week? I think it was the week before. We were like, oh, or maybe we should cancel that one, and we ended up canceling it. So, but yeah, I mean, everything is pretty much still the same. Pushing things through social media, and just trying to get through and trying to find ways to, do shows even virtually, possibly. I think that.
I always, we were looking to do a couple of things over the summer, but my biggest thing is I don't want to push anybody, and just find out what you're doing. Like I said, retweeting and posting new music. The virtual thing, a year ago, maybe we even talked about it. I might have even approached you about doing KRA Live and put it out a couple of times. And, there was some response, but it never went anywhere. Long story short, it was ahead of its time. Now everybody's doing it. So,
yeah,
just out of necessity and keep things going, and maybe get some people to chip in. But those other things, I didn't know you were on TikTok. And finally, I started seeing you posting some short clips and on just Twitter, and I saw the other side of you, which we'll talk about music after we introduce everybody. But I saw the soul and R&B side of you, and I was like, whoa! And I think I messaged you. I go, where did that come from?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And then you said that's actually what got me started. But we'll go to that more when we start talking music, I guess. And in the in real life, I'm sure everybody, we're all adults here, full-time jobs outside music too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their thing. That's for sure.
Eric, you're next.
Hey, so I'm Eric. I could play guitar, mainly like a clever weapon. Yeah, like life, it's being kind of a beast. Like work-wise, like as you said, like it's beginning, of our talk. It's being like a kind of a weird year in a way that like April, it's, as you said, like it's so close and so far at the same time. Like the timeline doesn't match much, right? So like it's being kind of crazy. So even for us, we've been trying to record. We launched some like IP during the pandemic. We recorded like a song during the pandemic and launched that. It was Sun Song, which was nice. But it's not the same thing, right? Like, doing all this stuff online, although like keep the band alive, it makes us like, okay, we are not showing like what we are creating to the rest of the band. And so we cannot integrate and say, oh, hey, like there is something new. So I think like the creative process, like for us, although like we still have like the WhatsApp group, like, it's not the same, right? Like there is like this kind of a barrier that now we need to figure out, okay, how we reinvent ourselves for the next EP or the next single that we'll be launching, right?
And of course, you guys stay busy. I mean, you're always busy up in the scene up in Toronto area, right? Playing a lot. And that's a big thing. Your fans feed off you, you feed off your fans, and just being in the same room, like you said, together, recording music, it changes the dynamic of how you guys create. And
yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's going through that.
I think like doing these little things, at least like keep us like alive, not only for us, like the band itself, but as you said, like the followers itself, right? Like they see that, oh, they are still there, right? Like it's not something, oh, the band, like now it's over, because like they are not like a meeting or have like rehearsals. But like at least like here and there, like we have something new that like people can listen and still keep like.
You have to keep your presence felt, because again, there are a lot of bands that completely went off the radar over the summer.
Mhm.
I've even investigated into, just bands that we follow and follow us back, and we've thrown that, put their music up, and they've literally come to a screeching halt. Nothing since the spring. And you don't want to ask, but you worry, are they done?
Mhm.
We at
Yeah.
least launched like a EP and a single, and we are preparing another one, by the way.
Yeah. See, we're working. We're still working.
We'll keep pushing it too. Jason, you're next.
So I'm Jason, the drummer and producer, I guess. So everything, this is the room where it all happens in here. Everything is out here and out there in the room.
That's my second home, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. Just
Yeah. They called me Hiding Jason because when it was just over a couple of years ago or so, I there's a site called Bandmix where you can find like bands to join and stuff like that. So I'm like, what the heck? I'm going to put a profile up and see what happens. And then James emailed me and said, hey, do you want to come up for practice? And I said, sure. I can come in a couple of weeks. So I recorded myself playing drums to one of the existing songs just to send it to him.
Which was
and he
awesome.
sent me a message and said, yeah, we don't need you. We got somebody else. And then that didn't work out. so they called me back and said, hey, do you want to come and practice? And but yeah, with the Highway to Hell actually started because I started doing covers on my own YouTube channel so I wouldn't go insane.
Yeah.
And we played Highway to Hell at a festival last year, and Sherry just nails the thing. So I'm like, hey, why don't we just put this out as a single? So keeping all that stuff going through WhatsApp, and we've got to have at least 30 or 40 songs that we've been batting around on WhatsApp. Like James sends me a new song every 10 minutes and I'll mess it up and send it back. And so the collaboration is slow, but it's still there. And there's so many ideas. It's just hard. It takes so much more time.
Yeah.
When you're doing it remote, as opposed to just being in a room. Like we could write 3 records in a couple hours if we were all sitting in a room, just the way that we all click and fit together, because our backgrounds are so different with musical taste and stuff like that. But I think we did a couple of things in the back porch at my house in the summertime when they started lifting some of the quarantine. So just acoustic guitars and sat out on the back just to at least get together. But yeah, it's been rough trying to keep getting new music out there. Right. Yeah.
And last but not least, James.
Yeah, so I'm the annoying guy that sends ideas out every 10 minutes. So so I guess I'm the bass player and kind of, random idea generator guy. But for me, with the pandemic, it's been challenging. Again, I echo what everyone's saying about the getting together piece. Creatively for me, even before Clever Weapon, I'm just kind of the type of person that I just always need to be constantly creating. So outside of the stuff I annoy the band with on WhatsApp, I'm always recording ideas on YouTube or my phone or whatever. So I do a lot of writing on guitar. But it's been challenging because to Jason's point, it's hard to get together to finish things in person. So again, we've just kind of been sitting on a kind of like a gold mine of ideas, which is great because again, once this all lifts and we can prioritize and sort things out, which we already tried to do in the summer. But again, it's just, even 2 weeks ago, I had this like, I'll tell the story because I think it's funny. So Foo Fighters were on Saturday Night Live, kind of after the whole election thing, and they said they were going to debut a new song. So I was really excited because I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. I'm a big Grohl fan, and so they play this song, and it's all right, but it was like lackluster for me on the first listen. And I said to myself, I need to write a better Foo Fighters song than this because I'm pissed. So then I kind of grab my guitar and I do my thing, and then I get all excited. And then what I usually do is I like secretly send something to Sherry, and if I don't get a response back in an hour, I'll send it to Jason. And then Eric usually never gets it because he's got young kids and I know he's busy. So he'll like, it'll be a surprise for him when I send it to him. But so I came up with this, I think this better than Foo Fighters song. So again, but we already prioritized this EP that we want to do with like these 6 like really solid tunes. But, you know, we keep creating and then it's, you know, it gets confusing and, you know, annoying, I guess, at some point in time, because you got all these ideas and we're stuck in this pandemic. So, but for me, I have to always create. That's just what I do.
That's a gift and a curse at the same time.
Oh, I've ruined so many of his ideas. I'll send it back with this
No,
awesome, like,
no,
80s rock vibe and
I disagree.
4,000
The last
background
one, you
vocals.
turned it into a 9 Inch Nails song, which, and I was just listening to 9 Inch Nails and I was like, wait, this sounds like industrial. I like this.
Sweet.
So yeah, and it's good. And it's, again, I think between the 4 of us, you know, I want to say maybe Jason and I have maybe the most free time than the other 2. But again, it's yeah, the pandemic's really put a lockdown on everything for us.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no way to plan for what's next. That's really what it's come down to, because we don't know what is next.
I'm a glass half full guy. Like, again, next is like rebirth for everybody, like on the planet.
Well, that's
I
what
think
I'm
so
hoping
too.
for.
Yeah.
But
We're gonna come out swinging, Mike.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, for
all
sure.
pent up. But what I love about you guys, the first 2 songs I put up is I just love fresh and different, and that's what I first heard. And that's why, honestly, before I investigated the band and even saw you guys, but I heard the music, I was like, these kids, wow, I like them. It's not like we're just teenagers, but it's cool to hear. And that's why I was gonna, next is, I don't like to categorize or anything, but I always love to talk about influences and what I call rock and roll DNA. It's passed down through everybody, and it's fresh in you guys. So, you know, maybe individually or as a band as a whole, whichever way you guys want to do it, is answer the question is, what are the influences? Is it just a potpourri, or, you know, is there a little more of this, a little more of that?
Eric's got the best answer for this question. We can all answer, but I vote Eric goes first because his
Yeah,
influences
Eric.
are different than
Eric.
everybody else's.
Mhm.
I think we are very different. You know, it's very we are like we are crazy, like, in a way that what we like we are like so opposite of everything that sometimes when we listen some stuff, like I say, like, to James, hey James, you know this song, like the Who song, that's amazing, and I hate it, you know? And like,
James was like, what?
I don't like the Who. That's like,
and like, so it's funny, like, talking about the influence. I think I think what we bring to the table, like, exactly, like, we are bring so much difference, you know, like different styles. Like myself, like Beatles is my main influence. Like I love the Beatles. That's like a kind of a religion, you know. And I love not only the rock, you know, from the 60s, like I love the 90s, like rock as well, like Radiohead, you know, like kind of a more Oasis and all this kind of stuff. But I love jazz. I love like classical music, the stuff that like the 50s. I try to, in my case, I try to connect to see like a many different stuff that's going on, and trying to put together. So sometimes, like when we're creating like a song or something, I try to use like a dissonant note or like a diminished note, right, or chord, because it's, although like it's a kind of a jazzy kind of thing, like it fits very well with rock as well. It can give us like that kind of you know, that level up that like people sometimes don't expect. And I think like everybody, because like the different styles that we like, I think we're bringing those kind of little details, you know, difference on all this, and like we make Clever Weapon that way. I think that's
yeah, and we focus on the song too. Like I think one of the things that we all share is the passion about a song and what a song should be. So when we're writing a song and compiling all these ideas, we really want the song to connect with people, because all of us, again, have different kind of influences or whatever. Like I love like progressive metal and, like really heavy death stuff, but, I'm not going to write a 3-minute death pop song. Like, I mean, we could, but so we really focus on we really focus on the song and to try and give it as many elements, like Eric said, about like that are unexpected, and a lot of that is helped by, I want to like kind of throw this to Jason as well too, because as much as we all create ideas and put down stuff, the kind of the potion mixer of the band is Jason, again, from a tech perspective and producing. So
Yeah,
I've said metal like 5 times. Like,
yeah.
I like metal.
He likes metal.
I'm a metal guy.
Oh yeah. 7 years old.
Yeah.
7 years old, sneaking into my brother's room and listening to my first Alice Cooper record is what put me down there. And I think that's where the production and the storytelling comes from, because Alice is a master at concept albums and telling stories, and his alternate personas, just those stories stuck. So any of the songs, when I have to hear it first. So I'll come up maybe with a riff here and there, but the songwriting stuff really comes from everybody else. And then I'll hear it and I'll go, I think this is telling me this story. So it's got to have an arc. It's got to have a wave of energy to it. It's got to build up and crash down if it's a song that's really personal about something. And we all kind of share that same, serve the song, tell the story kind of attitude.
If we're not crying listening to one of Jason's mix on like a slow ballad song, then Jason's not doing it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And rock has been the thing for me always. It's always been just big, chorusy rock, like the Dead Daisies with John Corabi and Doug Aldrich. That big rock, in your face, ballsy 70s just loudness with Sherry's awesome voice, soulful voice going through it. Just it was so incredible. I remember I did the first practice and they said, hey, we have these songs, let's just try them and you can play along with them. And then when they sent me the demo of all the 12 songs that were all done, I was like, oh my God, these songs are so good. And that's what I think what really mixes it. There's no like formula or cookie cutter, whatever. It's just, there's such a strong hook in all of them that I just hear these production elements that I think should pop in and out of them. And I think the really the best thing about all that is all of us are really open to stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll make like 4 mixes. Here's what it would sound like if it was an 80s rock tune. Here's if it was heavy. Here's if it was more country.
It's always the 80s though. The first mix we always get is the 80s mix. And Jason will do 12 background vocal overdubs. To which I'm like, yes, all of that. And then everyone else kind of like, well, maybe we could tone it down a bit.
Back it off a little. Yeah.
The one thing I do, again, something that stands out, and this is something I always listen to first, because I get a lot of music sent to me, and there's some really good songs that are just, the production is horrible, the engineering, the mix is terrible, but you guys are, Jason, you do an unbelievable job.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, cheers to Jason.
I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah. I remember when Sherry sent the Sun Song ending. I think I remember I was just like lying down. It was a long day at work and I'm listening to it over my phone and I just goosebumps everywhere. I just got so giddy. I'm like shaking and I'm like, all right, back in the dungeon. Let's get this done. It's the same with everything because the styles and the just the tones and the feel of all of it is so addictive for me that I just,
we have to pull him back to like after he's like, we get a bunch of different versions. We're like, okay, like stop. Cause Jason will just keep going. He'll just keep going.
The other question was, in the songwriting, the lyrics, is this, is it conglomeration or is it one person writing or just an idea, or throw it in the mix. It's all
That's interesting. It's and again, I'm calling on everyone else to cut me off, but for me, I'm not generally a lyric writer, but I think for a couple of songs I did contribute lyrics that the band felt were great, and because I'm kind of like just like idea riff kind of guy. But Eric's brought full songs to the band with lyrics and melodies, which are, again, I think it's because we're so open-minded. You know, we're like, yeah, let's do it, and then you know, Sherry fills in the blanks on all other lyrics for everything else. It's
Like the
interesting.
good stuff is like James is saying, like although like sometimes we bring like full songs like individually, even like when we were bringing that, like that song become a clever weapon because everybody contributes to that, right? It's not like you know, I'm also like not like the best lyricist, you know, ever. I'm also like more like into the riffs and like the structure of the song, like and but I think like sometimes, you know, comes everything together, right? Like and but I think like in our case, it doesn't matter if you bring like the whole song together.
Yeah.
You know, like when we put the band, like we add those little details that we were talking in earlier, and like then become clever weapon. I think that's you know, I think like there is no song that like I brought, or even like James brought like and say, hey, look at this. That was like our first vision. It changes a lot, like for the first time, right? Like all the production as well, and like we playing. So it's an evolution. Like the song is a constant evolution.
Yeah, we had like
Yeah,
we had an Iron Maiden song, we had like a Nirvana song, we had a song that Eric didn't even think was a song.
yeah.
Like, and they just turn into like we all put our style on it, I guess. I don't know. And again,
I got
Sherry, I think, brings the
just to bring that like story, like I like one of the first like rehearsals that we have, we were saying, okay, now we need to bring songs. I'm always loved like composing more than anything, and like I brought a song that like I said, hey guys, I think this is an intro song, you know, and like we start playing, and like where's the lyrics? Oh, I said, no, there is no lyrics. It's an instrumental song,
yeah.
and
And we're
everybody,
like, no,
We're
no
like,
way.
no.
what the heck, you know. And then like Sharon and I, we work on the lyrics because like okay, they convinced me that like it should not be just you know, just an intro. And this song that's called Home, that's in our last EP, it become our outro. So at the end of our
Closer.
you
Yeah.
know, like we play that song. So like you see like how everything changed. Something that should be the beginning, now it's the end.
Yeah, and it's interesting though, because I think that's why things just work well together, because well, for me it's everybody has their own kind of thing, but for me the words, I'm just very big on words. I love words. And the exciting thing for me is when James will send me something, hey, what do you think of this? And I just feel it, and the words come right away, and it's just it's such a nice feeling when everybody contributes their own kind of vibe, and then I feel that, and then I say, okay, I have words to this. The words just come right away.
Like Dream.
Dream was one of those songs where James like, hey, Cher, what do you think about this? And I heard it, and just like I remember I was on my lunch break at work. Many of the songs actually, even Sober was one of them too, just on a lunch break, and it just hits me. And that's why we work so well together, because everybody, the majority of you guys compose, and I'm just obsessed with words. So that's why we just kind of mix and match really easily that way. We just kind of complement each other that way.
the music's the power, and the lyrics are the soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you feed off. It's a perfect balance. Feed off.
Yeah.
Like,
It really is. It's awesome.
how long has the band been together? Let's say founding members. You know, what the beginning of Clever Weapon. How did this all start? And how do we get to here?
Well, we started. I don't know, I guess we would say
We
maybe,
started before Clever Weapon. We were
yeah,
like another band called the Six Fire.
Okay.
And like the first like rehearsal, it was end of the year. That was 2016.
16. Yeah.
That was so like James and I, and we have a lot of like other guys, like the founder, that Shane. He's not like in the band anymore. He moved to California.
Fancy.
California love.
And he left us.
He's not here to defend himself. We'll just
Thank
bash
you
him.
for there. I
He
love you.
You
abandoned
got
us.
Twitter? Because I'll find him and we can tag him. We'll do a round two.
So he
He's
told me
great.
that when he built the
Yeah.
band, like he looked like for more than 100 musicians, and he put together. And then like on that, like start everything there. So it was James and I, and like a Sherry, was like on the second rehearsal. That's when we fell in love with Sherry, because like her voice was like, okay, nail it, like couldn't compare. And then like so the first time that we were together as a, not as Clever Weapon, but like as band, like as a contributors, like was like end of 2016.
So not really that long, just 4 years now ish.
Yeah, 4 years.
And it's one of those kind of I find a lot of the special things that happen in my life seemingly are through chance. And again, this was one of those things that was definitely through chance, where Eric and I met, and then Sherry walked in and was like, singing, and I remember she's like, "Oh, sorry guys, my throat's," and it was like the most amazing thing. Like I think it was like Led Zeppelin or something like that, and she's like wailing Robert Plant, Better Than Robert Plant, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and we're like,
What?
I remember Shane and I I turned to him and I was like, "Don't let her go." I was like,
Post.
but yeah.
I was freaking out the whole time. I was like, oh my God.
And I mean, I've been in
Get outta
like,
here.
I've been in bands and I've like toured and like, you know what I mean? But like, that's one of those things. And, I'm in my 40s and I'm just like, whoa, like, okay, this could be something really cool. And I remember one of the things that, Sherry, that Shane and I talked about a lot was, we were like, we need Sherry to be a songwriter. Right. That was our hope for you, because we didn't really know you that well. And again, one of the visions that Shane had was it was going to be these musicians that can all collaborate together and write songs, like not just having like a Lennon McCartney or just like a sole writer, but like really a band where everyone would contribute and come up with something that was, again, that 70s rock vibe with like a pop element with like killer vocals. So between, Eric, myself, and Sherry, when we met, it was kind of like it clicked. And then when we found Jason hiding Jason, for real, that was when, like, again, he's got like this huge knowledge of like, production and these visions and like ideas of how things should be. So it's been really, it's been kind of, I feel lucky.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Achilles right
Achilles,
before
yeah.
the pandemic. So when Shane moved to California, we had Jonathan, and he was he was filling in. So he's really a bass player, and he's like, yeah, I'll play with you guys. I like the songs, etc. But he wanted to go and do some other stuff, and we had such a hard time finding someone else. And we found Achilles through Instagram. I was looking on Craigslist, and he just said, "Oh, guitar player, moved here to Canada a couple years ago, blah, 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 blah. Want to
from Brazil." Okay.
From Brazil. We're like, all right, that's perfect, because we're only allowed to have Brazilian guitar players. Looked at his Instagram channel, and he just does little covers of solos. And I was like, oh my God, we got to get this guy to come out. And he came out and he brought like all of his rig and stuff like this. And
it was a lot of production when he came out. It was a lot of production. I was like, I'll help you. And I'm like, I saw the Instagram and I'm like, this guy. And then he just literally, and he barely moves. And it's just like this energy flows out from his guitar, just effortlessly, and it's interesting. Just to add, Jason, because we had all these songs recorded for this latest kind of EP, and literally, and I was thinking about mentioning this before coming on, but he literally, it was like a painting's done and then someone signs it, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he kind of just all over the EP, and it just like he just elevated it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
Mark on it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah.
So,
He's kind of like when we were here doing the final like lead parts for stuff, my brain will hear something, but I can't play it. And I'll go, could you do like a woodla 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 going like blah 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 up to this and make it feel like that? And he's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And one take and it's boom and it's just unreal.
Done.
It's
Yeah, we'll
amazing.
give him an example. I'll be like, and again, the example that you guys have heard like forever is you know, for certain songs, I'll be like, okay, I'm thinking like a Slash on the Mountain, Don't Cry, Guns N' Roses video, like do that, you know what I mean? And it's just like kind of this like epic kind of, you know, Les Paul kind of vibe or
Yeah.
whatever. But
he
Yeah.
understands the layman's translation. There's probably some, technical way of saying it, but that's
Yes.
yeah,
I
don't speak technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was, again, over time, I always look into the bands, and I saw a lot of your lives, guys playing live up there. And for a band that's only been together about 4 years, I mean, I've listened to all the music you got. You've already got a sizable catalog of music. And I mean, I love the stuff. What's been like your biggest gig you've played up there so far? I mean, open for anybody or gotten any? See, I'm not real again familiar, especially in North America. We don't have the festivals like we used to, but just mostly the club scenes, or what kind of gigs have you been doing recently up and before all this mess?
I think before COVID hit, I would say probably, and guys, of course, you just jump in, but I think for probably the most popular spot that we played was the Horseshoe.
Yeah, that was a great gig.
The Horseshoe Tavern, yeah, the downtown Toronto. A lot
The
of bands.
Toronto Fest was like the largest one.
Yeah, the
was
real
Was the
festival.
largest one, or it wasn't the largest one?
It was like the largest
was,
one.
yeah.
For sure, like it was the largest one. We
Yeah.
are like it was like a big stage, right? The
Yeah,
Horseshoe
it
was
was-
awesome.
That was
I think I saw a video of that one. Yep.
Yeah, that was very memorable. Not only because of the venue, but I think
Oh, we have
Yeah.
like more people there.
there was a lot of people there. Well, the festival that we did last year was pretty big as well,
Yeah.
right?
And that was one of those fun ones too, right? Where it's like it's kind of a festival, and maybe people don't know who you are, so you want to do some cover songs.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing kind of quite a few original songs because we were just like, we're really passionate about our music, and it was pretty, pretty widely accepted. It was good.
Yeah.
That's ultimate testing ground is fresh audience.
Yep.
Yeah.
But covered this. I guess I'll get into the silly questions. Kind of try to put you on the spot a little bit. We'll do this individually first. And go around.
Cool.
If you had your choice, who would you be your dream collaboration?
Oh man.
This is like Jeopardy right now. Went dead silent. I should play the music.
Oh.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Oh wow.
Who's first?
You are.
I already know my answer.
Oh God.
Ladies first.
Oh my gosh. Dream collaboration. Okay, I'm gonna say Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses. If I could collaborate with Guns N' Roses, I would sleep very well.
I don't even know who you are. That's amazing. I love being surprised.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Because Guns N' Roses for me is one of the influences for me since I was a kid. Axl's voice is just like, for me, unmatchable. So yeah, that would be mine.
Impressive. Didn't see that coming.
Wow.
All right, Eric, you're up.
Well, there's so many that I would love to collaborate, but I think it sounds make kind of a crazy, but I would love to do something that would not be rock related. I think like a Herbie Hancock, like doing like a kind of a experimental music, I think that would be awesome. To tell the truth.
Yeah. Different. Doesn't have to be rock.
Oh, I thought it had to be rock.
No. I said, who would be your judge? No.
I do my hair toss gently.
Baby, how you feel? Feeling good as hell. Don't get me started with that one, Jay. You know I'll go on with that.
Ooh, child.
Ooh, child. Oh boy.
Man, I'd have a hard time narrowing it down, but because 10 people come to mind like instantly, but I would have to say, with given my bias towards big vocally chorus, loud guitars, I'd say Steve Brown from Tokyo Motor Fist. He was the guitar player in Trickster. If anybody remembers the band from the 80s. Now he's in another band called Tokyo Motor Fist with Ted Poley from Danger Danger. He's played with Def Leppard. But he is a very underrated songwriter and guitar player. But all of those songs just have the same kind of feel that I like, just these choruses that launch into the stratosphere with massive background vocals and huge screaming guitars and stuff like that. Yeah, the energy, real high energy rock stuff that I love.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So so I knew immediately. I have like two answers. So one answer is like a selfish, not productive answer, and then the other one is more of like a collaborative to produce something that's going to get out there. So the selfish one is so I'm like a huge fan of Flea and John Frusciante from the Hot Chili Peppers. Very excited that John's back in the band, and hopefully they're making some beautiful music, but that would be like a dream. And I don't know if I would play bass with Flea or try and play guitar with John Frusciante, but it'd be very interesting. But like collaboratively to produce something that would be like put out, I would love to write songs for Kelly Clarkson and or Pink. Because I think that my guitar writing style would fit with kind of a female pop vocalist. And again, we have a great female pop vocalist here, but it's a dream collaboration. It's Kelly Clarkson or Pink. Maybe Miley Cyrus, maybe too, actually.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah.
They've all kind of got they're semi-closet rockers, and
exactly. Yeah. And that's why like I listen to metal, like I'll listen to like heavy stuff, and then like my metal friends will get annoyed because I'll be like, hey, did you hear the new Kelly Clarkson song? And they're like, get away from me.
Well, that's actually happening now with Miley, because first she came out saying she wants to do the Metallica covers album. But then, if everybody jumps to the conclusion, but if you investigate it or you watch her do some of the covers she's done of, let's say, rock and metal songs,
she's done some great grunge covers. Like she does she does a great Chris Cornell, which you're like it's totally unexpected. Yeah. I love her.
Well, that's what's sad, and music should work together. Yeah, we're rockers. I'm old school rock, and I'm the same guy that I grew up in the 70s. Disco sucks. But something, I'll be the first to admit I know every word to every friggin' song. And that's from being trapped in the station wagon back then. But anyway.
No one could escape Chic. I mean, come on. Like Nile Rodgers. I mean, like you're dead if you don't love it.
The thing is that, I mean, when I was learning to play, let's say, guitar, the first instrument I learned to play was bass. And I played it for years, played in bands. And I mean, I love funk. Love it. Adore it. Play it. It's fun. I mean, there's nothing better than getting up and just, jamming rock and roll, but something about the funk, and it's inside you. You can feel it, and in your chest. It's in your. But the thing that it happened on Cape Rock Alive 2 weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was when that started being talked about. People are hypocrites because had they not known it's Miley Cyrus, and you put the song out, you put the video out, and you say, hey, you got to hear this girl. Yeah. Whoa, she's awesome. Yeah, it's Miley Cyrus. She sucks.
It's Hannah Montana. Yeah, and that's why, we're all open. Again, that's we've mentioned a couple times, but we're really open-minded on things. So you have to be, right?
Music is music.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think when you do keep that open mind, that's when the magic happens, right?
Well,
that's when the magic happens. And that's what I'm always saying, let's not shut down any idea, because it could really blossom into something really beautiful and real and concrete, and it has so much power in it that there's no need to be shutting down anything, right? So
well, that's the thing. I mean, if anybody really truly understands, and if there's ever been a genre of music that's proven it, it's rock and roll, that we're the mud. Mm-hmm. We're a product of everything.
Yeah.
Rock and roll is just, we've taken every ingredient and thrown it in a pot, and over 60 plus years, it's just evolved. But I think Sherry has been watching Keep Rock Alive now for over a year, right? Or at least seen what we do. And the thing I run into most is, 2-3 things. The older classic rock fan doesn't want to hear the new bands. Mm-hmm. Kids don't want to hear rock and roll because it's your parents or your grandparents' music. They're into the new pop, and that's okay because, eras change. Rock and roll always continues, and it's lived through a lot of types of music that have come and gone. But the reluctance again to listening to new music and taking bits and pieces of the other music to create the next step in the evolution of rock and roll. We've never been in this position where I've seen it's even, it's hard for me to get anybody to listen on great numbers. And that's why I just keep pumping it out there. And now I want to bring the bands, and this is somewhat of a captive audience, and hopefully people start listening and seeing there's new generations, from the kids to the 20s to the 30s. There's bands out there that are no different than the bands that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s, and people in their 30s and 40s grew up with in the 80s and 90s, and so on. Rock and roll always evolves, and Keep Rock Alive is exactly what it stands for. Mm-hmm. If you love rock and roll, you can't be closed-minded. You can't be narrow-minded. And I've turned a few people, which I actually never expected to happen. And so there's a change, and like you guys said before, hopefully there's a rebirth. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is like the earthquake or the tsunami that needed to happen, natural disaster, to kind of level the playing field, because right now music across the board is suffering. The big labels, that everybody blames for the demise of rock and roll, they're hurting because they live off of the tours. They don't live off the sales of music anymore. Yeah. They make their money on the road with the arenas, the stadiums, merchandise, concession, whatever, all that's what money's made. And right now, it's dead. So there's going to be a restart, like you say, a rebirth. And it has been more people seeking rock and roll. And look what you see happening, go back to Miley Cyrus, and a lot of these pop stars are suddenly integrating rock and roll and entertaining the idea of basically doing a genre flip for an album. So they're seeing the change. For them to recognize it, or to even acknowledge that it's time for them to maybe change, their flavor of music, that's a good sign for all of us. I mean, I say us, I'm a fan. Sherry knows I help promote one young artist and help a couple other kids, and that's what got me started. But that's not, music isn't my, let's say, livelihood. I just love rock and roll, and I'll do anything I started this little thing to help guys like you guys, everyone out there just making new music. And
so the interesting thing is, again, I'm going to quote a stat that's probably not a true stat, and I don't want to, be spreading fake news, but it's probably mostly true. is apparently Fender's sold more guitars during the pandemic than
True.
like ever or something like that. Whatever.
yeah.
There's been an increase.
Yes, there has.
So
Absolutely.
my secret hope is that there's like young people stuck in their basement, they're pissed off, and they're like, you know, I'm gonna get non-PG, but like they're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, you can
And the next thing that's gonna come out is gonna be like this Rage Against the Machine, Zach De La Rocha, like rah, and this band's gonna emerge in 2021,
Yeah.
and people are gonna be like, holy crap.
That's what
That's like, and it happens every once in a while, right? Like, you know what I mean? But like my buddies and I were talking about the first time we heard Rage Against the Machine, and we were into grunge and whatever, and we're like, what is this? This is like, I was like, man, I don't know. But like a rock guitar driven aggression, you know what I mean? Like every once in a while. So I'm hopeful the pandemic is like, again, brewing some sort of like magical band that we'll come back, Mike, like in a year from now, and you'll be like, James, you called it, this new band, you know, Purple Violets came out and they just tore the whole planet apart.
Sorry, James. I beat you to it because I have it documented many times where I said we haven't had that band since Nirvana.
Nirvana, yeah. Nirvana's probably the Nirvana Rage, kind of that era.
I call it the culture shift band.
Yeah,
Actually
that's what it is.
Yeah, and they forced, you know, change in music, not just say in rock and roll, but it rippled out through all the other genres too.
Yeah.
We really haven't had that since. I mean, there's been, and I say this all the time, there's been really good, great rock and roll bands since, but none that, let's say,
mainstream
and taken over, you know, what you hear now. I mean, whatever, I can't even comment on some of the music that's, what do you call top 40 or whatever. But it is what it is. But like you said, but that's a product of what rock and roll has always been since the 50s. It's been, the younger generation has always carried the popular music of the time. You look now, the music that's popular right now, the pop and hip hop, is carried by teenagers, early teens. The music of all the 2000s, same thing. The digital age, especially, it's something they can relate to the same way. You know, we may have grown up with. I was vinyl and albums. Younger, it might be CDs, cassettes, and then into the MP3s, and then now basically you have unlimited music anywhere you are in your pocket. And that's, you know, that's the way that they consume music. But that's the problem, is they consume music. We lived music, and you loved reading it, and we wore it on us. It was a part of our lives, and it always has been and always will be. So, but from the 50s, where rock and roll was the cheap way to produce music on a 45, and it was less than $1 for a kid to buy a 45. That's what fueled the popularity of early rock and roll, Chuck Berry, the doo-wop, all that. 60s, same thing. Albums became a thing. I had this discussion too about it. People don't understand what album means, because I'll ask, like, for instance, on KRA, just what's your favorite album of whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they'll go, what does that mean? Well, CD or no, album is I got to bite my tongue, because I'm sorry, I'm from New York, so I don't, like, what's wrong with you? It's the same fucking thing. But an album is technically a collection. That's not even technically an album. It's the product of what, back in the 78s, you could only fit so much time on each full-size album, playing at 78. So it was 4 or 5 records, full-size records, with a song each side, and it was like a photo album. It opened up like a book, and it had them on. And that's what actually an album is. It's just the name carried, but you know. But every genre, or every era, has always been carried by the kids, and every time, rock and roll has been the middle finger to everything or everyone or whatever was going on at the time. And just like James said just now,
can't wait.
If we have ever been prime, and I keep saying this, I don't know how to do it. I'm not a songwriter. I mean, I played in bands just for fun, but kids out there that relate to what's going on right now and, you know, are ready to say, screw you, fuck you, all of that, write it and piss somebody off, because that's the ignition. You know, you got the fuel, be the spark. And like you said, James, be that next band that maybe makes CNN, or this is going to offend somebody, and then all of a sudden explodes because there's kids out there by the millions who are thinking the same thing. Yeah, fuck you. That's what I, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it comes from a computer. Like, again, like, you know, I referenced Nine Inch Nails before. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, 2 guitars, a bass, and a drummer. Like, you know what I mean? Like Nine Inch Nails. I mean, like, you know, aggression and just like trying to change stuff. And
Well,
you know,
rock and roll can still stay true to his roots and implement new technology, and that's been proven. If you watch that documentary Sound City, you love Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Go, if you haven't seen that, watch that with Dave Grohl. He buys the Neve machine, the console from the original Sound City in California, but they have the whole documentary around it, and then you see even older bands that are starting to say, you know, there's nothing wrong with staying with the old technology, analog, you know, the same basic structure of a band or what rock and roll is, and implementing the new ingredients. And sometimes it does make things easier. Yeah, you don't want to take all the soul out of the music. Rick Beato talks about that too with the quantization. You know, mistakes sometimes are the, you know, what's missing.
The heartbeat.
That's what I like about the Winery Dogs. When Mike Portnoy, Richie Kotzen, Billy Sheehan got together, the Winery Dogs, the band name is, it goes back to the dogs that would guard the wineries. So they kind of thought of themselves as the old guard. They just sat in a room for a day and a half, wrote and recorded the whole first record, just like on the spot.
A live recording, right?
Boom. Like no overdubs, or as minimal as possible, and to try to inspire people to kind of do that type of stuff. Like there's a really awesome story that from ZZ Top. I was watching their Netflix special, and they talk about how they got that huge guitar sound with one guitar, because their producer at the time, or the A&R guy, was no overdubs. I've seen these guys live. We want this raw, kind of punchy, just the 3 dudes there playing. And they sent him off to the store to go get some food or something like that. And they detuned the guitar a little bit, put it a little bit out of tune, and then played the same thing again, just to give it a bigger, beefier guitar sound. So there wasn't really an overdub with a different part, but just like little tricks like that you can't replicate when you're copy and pasting stuff. So you just, you know, some of those old records from the 70s, you can hear people walking around in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, listen on headphones and stuff. You hear like there's I can't remember what Led Zeppelin song. You hear John Bonham drop a stick and he goes, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Like
And the
Diana swears
Beatles
on
too.
Hey Jude.
Yeah.
He
Just you
he
miss
plays
that
like a long
real-
chord in the middle of Hey Jude, and like he swears.
Yeah. And that stuff. Yeah. So somebody's going to do it. I was hoping it would be Greta Van Fleet. And I know people bitch about them for copying Led Zeppelin, but their sound was just raw.
I like them.
And their swagger and their attitude, you know.
I think what happened, my opinion on them is, when I first heard Highway Tune, I was just fucking blown away. Because they sounded, I say, if you listen, you can listen to some of their demos. I'm starting to wonder if, like, in the background, once people started, you know, let's say producers or whoever there's, you know, is pulling the strings right now, is steering them too hard to sound in, let's say, like Led Zeppelin. And I think a mistake they made was when they were questioned, they didn't just come right out and say, you know, oh, well, obviously we've been influenced by Led Zeppelin, duh.
Obviously, right? Like when you're wearing a frilly shirt and doing this and going, "Mama," like I mean,
he literally.
You didn't just kind of like come up with that shit on your own.
Born that way. Maybe it's just.
And I like it. Like I love throwback, right? Like you know, and I think they're talented kids and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with you. But for anybody that thinks like rock is dead, like outside of like Foo Fighters or whatever, but like I just love Royal Blood from the UK. They're like a 2-piece, like great songwriting, and like, you know, they're mainstreamish and they write great rock songs. Man, they're good.
There's a lot. It's out there. No, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
with the digital age and everybody and their brother being able to, write or let's say record music and put music out there. I mean, this is a perfect example. 2 weeks ago, I didn't like anybody even taking my picture, and that's a fact. I'm camera shy and I don't like to. And now I'm doing this, but because the technology is here, it's so easy to do basically anything. We're having this little chat, little rock and roll chat on live on worldwide on YouTube, which we could never have imagined, or I couldn't, at least of as a kid, or even in 10, 15 years ago, who knows? But
Magical.
it's just, there's no end to it.
Yeah.
And let's say, I'll put you guys, I guess I'll put you on the spot with this one. Then you got to answer this question as a whole, as a band. If you had your choice to tour with one band, worldwide tour, who would it be?
Okay, we all got to yell it out at the same time.
These good questions.
Like a band today, or like any band we can choose?
I was gonna say I don't like saying living or gone, but you know what? No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
All time.
Oh my God.
Foo Fighters.
Motley Crue.
Aerosmith.
I have no idea how we can answer that, guys, because that's a tricky one, Mike, because
I know.
The reason that's tricky is because, as Eric said before, we all have so many different influences, and to find the one that's like the median, that's the tricky part.
Well,
I think an Aerosmith crowd.
I would say Foo Fighters, because I thought
Foo Fighters and Aerosmith crowd.
Aerosmith.
So you know what? We'll make it a triple header.
Yeah.
So triple bill, you guys, and what other two bands? I'll make it a little easier on you. How's that?
I would say Aerosmith for sure.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
And the other?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the answer I want to say is like old. But I don't know. Like I just think I think that like our music would like maybe an AC/DC or like I don't know, like a Bon Jovi. Like I think that type of crowd that's like open to like 80s rock with like, you know what I mean? Like that would really get us, I think. Is kind of that rock crowd.
Music that's kind of, it represents you. Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, and you guys.
Yeah.
Like that would be touring around today, I guess.
Yeah. I misinterpreted the question because I was thinking Motley Crue in 1989.
Like time
before
machine.
The internet and before the internet.
Specific.
I think we might get we would have like vegetables thrown at us or something. I don't know. That's
but it would have been awesome.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Oh, let's do that. We'll say if you could go, we can do the time machine.
Yeah.
You could hop in a time machine and go as a band and play one gig.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Zeppelin for sure. Like
Farm Aid '91, the Farm Aid Festival. Queen
Farm Aid.
Yeah, wasn't it that? What was that? It was 1990, 91. Queen's first.
Talking about the Queen, like Wembley.
Farm Aid.
Wembley.
Live Aid.
Live Aid. Farm Aid.
Live Aid.
Sorry.
Farm Aid was the.
It was
like
the other.
I hate Mondays guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
Live Aid at Wembley
version, and which they actually was pretty cool. I mean, Farm Aid wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
They kicked ass, all of them. Yeah. Those guys, but Live Aid, I remember seeing that. I watched it all day on MTV Live. It was amazing. It really was. We'll close it out. We said we wanted to keep around an hour, so it's 8:05. I'll ask you guys. You'll answer this one individually. Pretty simple. Whether you got a favorite or not, but favorite Clever Weapon song.
The next one that's coming out every now and then.
That's a great answer, Jason.
Yes.
Plug in there. Plug in there.
Which should, as soon as we can get,
because when it's ready, just
as soon as we can get somebody to finish her last two parts.
Jay's like, Sherry.
There we go.
I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. Sherry, we need the
Get her
lyrics.
done. Yep. But if I had to pick an existing one, I would pick Let You Go, which is the song I hated the most when I started. And then after we finished writing it and Achilles put his signature on it, I was like, oh man, this is my favorite.
Mine is Save a Smile. Like, I'm in love that, like, that's a James song that he brought like since like day one. I love that song.
That's a good one.
James, you go, because I'm still trying to figure out.
So yeah, you know, when you brought up Save a Smile, I was like, oh, and then there's like selfishly, like I don't want to pick kind of something that I might have wrote, but I think like all together, like all in one kind of combined, like to me, Sun Song is like with the production and the vocals and just like the lyrics Sherry put to it. Sun Song for me is I can barely keep from crying every time I hear it. So I think that's my favorite. And it's just not just because of the song itself, it's like the production, everything together. So Sun Song.
I think mine would also be, I think mine would also be Sun Song. I think that song has a very, it's hard to say because we that song came about maybe like a year ago. It's not like, right? So we literally put it together like last year and then just recently
I mean,
polished it up and
again, to me it's like just the pandemic, the video, the what I mean, the Achilles coming in. No, that song was written, I rented a guitar for my son to teach him how to play guitar, and that guitar gave me that song.
And
then
like
I remember 2017 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
I would say Sun Song as well. I was gonna say Home, but I think Sun Song has a lot more meaning lyrically, so I would say Sun Song as well.
I mean, obviously, now you said that the next song you'll be releasing as a single, correct?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, other thing, Sherry.
Yes.
There's no, at least I know the guys now. Send it to me because every time, I think the last 2 or 3 songs I found by accident, either by going to the Clever Weapon page or. I think I got notifications, but I found them like a week later a couple of times. So you can send it to me.
I will definitely send it to you.
Let me know if you got a date. Just give it to me, and then I'll follow it. I'll snag it off of YouTube or wherever. We got a couple of comments actually. I don't know. See
comments. Oh my.
Derek Marshall. You know Derek Marshall?
One of my best friends.
There you go. He says, follow Jason on YouTube. Slap like now.
Slap like now. Davey 504.
Keep rocking. And then Patrick Edwards.
Yep. He's a buddy of mine I went to high school with. Yeah.
He says, hello from Vancouver. Sounds great. Let's play some shows together in 2021. And then he also asks, do you ever switch instruments in your live set?
Yes.
Oh my, yes.
Eric and I do.
Yeah.
And it's selfish for me because he's got like this beautiful, beautiful guitar that every time I strap it on, I just want to like run away with it. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The Rickenbacker.
Is it Ricky?
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds amazing. I love the tone of that thing.
Oh. Yeah. So Eric and I think are the only ones that switch, right? And again, Jason's like multi-instrumental, so Jason can play any instrument. He does some guitars on some of the tracks. So I mean, but live it's probably mostly Eric and I. Yeah.
I think
You know what I wanted to ask you, I didn't think of this, is you are so close to New York. Have you come across yet? Have you played down here at all?
No,
not out of Canada.
I think that's something that we're definitely looking forward to once this whole pandemic is.
Because from where you are, I've been up to Buffalo and Niagara Falls a few times. It's not a bad drive, but when things, again, nobody knows what's happening. We've lost so many. I don't know what's going on up there with you guys, but down here, we lost a lot of venues already.
Yeah.
Another one that we were regulars at New York City just the other day announced on Facebook they're closing. And they said at least the location they're in, they plan on and want to come back eventually, maybe somewhere else. But I mean, now they're gone, but a lot of them are. It's just impossible to stay shut down this long and somehow survive. You can't keep paying the bills on something that there's, they're not generating any income whatsoever. But,
Yeah, it's tough.
you guys from Toronto, maybe 6 hours. I'm trying to think. And I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
7 or 8-ish to New York. Yeah.
I'm from the city, but I mean, I live an hour and 15 minutes, half hour north of the city. There's a lot of decent, some venues up here in the lower Hudson Valley that are pretty decent. Pennsylvania, Connecticut. If you want to go, you can even go all the way. You can go out to Boston, Massachusetts. But
Yeah.
city for you isn't that far. And depending on the time of the year, you got New York City, Long Island, a lot of clubs out there still, smaller clubs, but you get a lot of exposure and you get a buzz going.
Mhm.
And the Jersey Shore too, in the summertime, especially if you come down that time, you can literally play, 15, 20 gigs over 2 months, just playing the shore gigs out on the boardwalks, out on the piers. There's so many different bars and clubs and venues, and got the Stone Pony down there. The place is legendary. Talk about Bon Jovi. Stone Pony launched them.
Mhm.
But I mean, be cool to get. A lot of bands that I know a few from up there, and I don't know, just don't cross the border.
Yeah.
I know I don't know how it is anymore.
A lot of logistics. It's pretty.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Getting visas and insurance
I
and
figured.
dealing with all the gear and stuff.
And God knows what it's going to be like after this.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Visas, health certificates. You just don't know. But that's all I say to everyone is, keep going. Wish you the best. Stay healthy. Hopefully, this all blows over next year. And like you said, James, we start coming back, turn the corner, and there's some kind of rebirth and reinterest in everything. And maybe, people locked up for so long that even these kids that, play video games all the time realize they're really tired of being now. It's not that they choose to stay in the house. Now they're locked in the house. So,
Exactly.
maybe there'll be the cry for real.
You can be both. You could be both. I just bought a new Xbox, so you could be a musician and like video games as well. all you video gamer kids out there, you could, you can split your time in half.
You
Do
can.
what you like.
That's all. Well, the PS5 just came out, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I see all the ads. I went to Burger King to get the 2 for $5 just to see if I'd win it. And then I ate a Whopper. I'm not supposed to. I think I actually just came. I got out of the hospital yesterday, and I've got more stents. I'm turning into Robo Heart.
Oh,
I'm up to 6, so it's a joke.
my God.
I'm not allowed to go to Burger King anymore.
Yeah.
The diet.
Please don't go to Burger King.
Yeah.
My new diet is simple. If I like it, no, you can't eat it.
Oh
But-
no.
It was fun. I'm glad I got to meet you guys finally.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thanks for doing this.
Like I said,
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Having us.
Stay in touch. I don't know if I'm following anybody because this is the first time I've been able to put names to faces. So,
Mhm.
Sherry, if anyone that's following, send me everyone's links, and just as what's happening, keep me up to date.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sherry will get the rest of the parts done this weekend. We'll be all set.
And seriously,
We decided to get off our ass.
We got her on video agreeing to it.
Mhm.
do you guys celebrate our Thanksgiving up there by proxy just because we do, or no?
We just shop. That's about it. That's about the celebrating that we do.
I know there's a Canadian Thanksgiving. Was that 2 months ago or last month?
It was
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
month,
last
yeah.
month.
But we do have, well, actually, no, that's next month. We have Boxing Day. But then again, we
It's
have
the
Black
day after
Black
Christmas,
Friday
right?
after too.
Definitely. We have the Black Friday now that we follow their Black Friday. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Black Friday and the Cyber Monday. So I'm waiting for that to see. Get
Yes.
some.
Well, this year Black Friday started on Halloween.
Yeah.
Really?
Everybody. I was in Walmart last week, and I walked in, or I had to go in and grab something for what I was going to do, and the parking lot was jammed, and I'm like, what's going on? And I walk in, and they started Black Friday sales, and there are people, and I don't know, with everything that's going on, everybody says they're broken. You know, money's tough to come by. People are out of work, which they are.
Mhm.
They were buying a lot of friggin' TVs.
Yeah, but
Holy
if the TV's $250, I'm grabbing it.
You know what it was? 60 inch. They were that Walmart brand ONN. They're really cheap. But,
Oh, yeah, I've heard
yeah.
of it.
But $160 for a 60-inch TV.
That's a steal.
Yeah, and
This is why, like, very graciously, this is why the US is the US, right? Like, we're always fascinated. I'm like, how can you get a TV for $160? I wouldn't
Right?
like.
That's what yeah.
I'm coming down. Like, it's so fascinating to me. It's crazy.
Well,
We'll
I mean,
go down, we'll shop, and then we'll play a show and then come back.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works with buying either, if you got to have like a bill of lading, or you can just take anything you want back over the border. But
I'll lie. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I have no idea how it works. But I mean, yeah, it sounds great. But I mean, everyone is in there using their credit cards, and sure, they got the TV today, but that $160 TV is going to cost them $400 or $500 by the time they pay it off.
Yeah.
That's the United States.
The
That's
bill
the
always
American
comes
way.
due. The bill always comes due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my.
other than that, when if you guys do anything live streaming, please let me know. And I mean, we'll do whatever.
For sure.
That'd be
Get people
great.
to watch. That's the idea. So again, keep in touch, keep me up to date. I appreciate you guys stopping in. It was a lot of fun. Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day, and I guess that's it.
That's
Well,
it.
stay
Thanks
safe
so
and
much for
healthy,
having
Mike.
us, Mike.
Yeah. Stay
Really
safe.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to close this out, and I'll message you guys, or Sherry at least, on Twitter. All right.
Right on.
All right.